And I wouldn't miss this for anything in the world. I've been out of office now almost 16 years. I was in 16 years. And I was the state representative for Walker, Sandy, Polk, and Tyler counties. And it just so happened that about the time I got elected, William Wayne Justice had put Texas under the control of the federal government because of cruel and unusual punishment in many areas. My degree is in criminal justice. Believe it or not, the people, and I was one of them, the outlaw hunters, and I was a game warden. I moved to Huntsville as a game warden. And you wouldn't believe that the people of Polk, San Jacinto, and Tyler County would elect a game warden to anything. Because I was having to go in places and ask for votes from people that I had arrested. But I come to find out pretty soon that if you treat people with respect, they'll respect you whether they got their way or whether they didn't get their way. It helped me a lot as a legislator. And there's one thing, I got to be a chairman at the end of my second term. Normally it's 4. But I had the degree in criminal justice, and we had the federal court order on us. And I'll never forget, Gil Lewis called me in. He said, I'm going to make you chairman this session. And he said, I want you to take criminal justice system, juvenile justice system, and law enforcement. I said, I can't do it all. Nobody can do it all and do it right. I said, you give law enforcement to somebody else. My heart is in the criminal justice system and the juvenile justice system. And if I'm not mistaken, Bill Clements was probably the governor at the time. I came in with Mark White and left George Bush's first term. But I went in and I told the speaker, I said, well, I'm not going to do it unless you call Bob Bullock and you call the governor. And I'm going to have to do some things that nasty liberal word sound liberal. But I promise you they're the right thing to do. And if you do it right, it'll not only be liberal, it'll be conservative. If you do things right, if you put public education first, you wash away 90% of the problems you've got in the juvenile and the adult system.
Amen.
Well, after I got elected, and believe me, after being in office 16 years, I met every kind of person there is to meet. I met sharks, I met buzzards, I met people that had flim-flams to sell and people that had everything else to sell. Mike called me, I came down here, we looked around and I said, Mike, I'm putting together a study group, And I said, I've asked Dr. George Beto to be in that group. I said, Dr. Beto probably knows more about the juvenile justice system than anybody in the country. And I said, I've got Dr. Dale Carmen, I've asked him to be on it. I've asked the 2 county judges, one from Harris County and one from Dallas County, who, by the way, sent over 50% of the inmates to prison from 2 counties out of 254. And I said, I'm even going to put Johnny Holmes on there, who was a prosecutor from Harris County. And I said, I need to balance that out, and I want you to help me. He looked at me and he said, I don't know if I can do it. I said, you can do it, you can do it. You've proven it to me with what I've seen out here. And I said, if you'll be on there, we'll win this thing. Well, it took us 6 years. And as I said, you meet everybody from every walk of life when you're in the legislature. And Mike Buzbee was one of those people that was a real person. He wasn't county judge from Harris County that had a commissioner's court to satisfy, that had this to satisfy. Mike Buzbee wanted to fix the problems. Then Ann Richards took office that next session. I sunsetted the penal code. Now that put a whole lot of people in a bind. when you sunset the state's whole penal code, there are no laws unless you rewrite them that session. So we started from zero with the juvenile justice system and with the adult criminal justice system, and I said, we send, and I had a lot of good, I'm going to say this, a lot of good Democrats and a lot of good Republicans that believed me. Like I believed Mike when Mike told me we needed something here, or we needed something to make our program a better program. We send way, way, way too many people to prison. Now, it's better than it was. It's not where it should be. But Mike showed me the programs that went on here. And I said, Mike, I want to ask one more thing of you. Let me come when you're not here, or let me come without calling you and walk around and visit. He said, you can come. We have nothing to hide. You come and you do whatever you want to do when you're down here. Okay? And several times I did. But I got to know Mike as a personal friend because our politics was a lot alike. And it all boils down, we made way too much out of politics over these years. It's really about people. If politics isn't about people, what's it about? And when you can identify certain sections of certain counties that send 30% of that population or 40% of that population to the penitentiary, you got real problems. And I had to stand up and face the heat on the floor and ask the members of if you were born in a neighborhood that the only people that amounted to anything or had money were pimps, prostitutes, or drug dealers, and you lived with your grandma and you didn't know who your daddy was, what expectation should we have of that child to amount to something in this world? There's no chance, absolutely no chance.